What's going on, everybody? So today I got a special unique cook going down. Basically got this beef tenderloin here on sale at the local grocer. It was actually half off, so I couldn't pass it by, and I thought to myself, you know what, this is a great opportunity for another experiment. So basically I'm going to be taking this beef tenderloin, cutting it up into fillets, and then I'm going to be marinating this 4 different ways to see which way really works out. So let's get into it, let's have some fun, and let's see which one wins.
You ready? Let's go!
I've gotten this beef tenderloin out. As you can see, part of this is attached to this other piece right here, and I'm just going to basically gently glide down with the deboning knife just so I can get those separated. Obviously I want the fillet to be whole, and we want to keep each piece to itself. Version of this that basically has 3 different parts tied together, but you can get more than one tenderloin out of it. Essentially what I'm trying to do now, instead of just sliding that down through there like such. Next thing I'm gonna do on here is just basically get this silver skin off. There we go. Slide that down there. It's good to have a good deboning knife. This one's from actually Del Strong. It's really good. It's worked out well for me. Let's see here. There we go. Nice. Got that on there. There we go. So basically just getting these little pieces of fat off of here. For the beef tenderloin, I'm going to try to keep these about 2 inches. Just gonna cut this tip right here. We'll save that for later. So yeah, I'm measuring just so I can make sure that I'm getting this as accurate as I can. That's what I figured, just wanted to make sure I was good. So basically I'm just gonna slice down this like so, and then bam. 1 tenderloin. What I'll end up doing is wrapping that when it's all said and done, but right now I'm just going to put that off to the side. We can get one more out of this, it looks like. Yeah, there we go. So again, just slicing that just right. So now we've got 2 tenderloins already from this. I'm not going to probably be able to get a 3rd one out of this, but I can do something with this, so I'll hang on to that as well. And these tenderloins are a blast to cook. Easy. I'm going to probably do it cast iron style. That's just me. We'll see how it turns out. Alright, so again, 2 inches. Some of these are going to be a little bit smaller than others, but at the end of the day, it's still going to serve its purpose. And when I wrap these with butcher's twine, it's going to make a lot more sense. But for this purpose, I'm just essentially trying to get these to be around the same size, or the same size, so I can marinate them and try out the different styles that we're going to be doing. Very unique, for sure. To be honest with you, I've never actually even done it, so this is going to be a learning opportunity for me, and I'll get to share lessons learned. I've been watching other content creators play with different things as it relates to marinating steaks, so I thought I would try my hand at it, and more importantly, be able to report back to you what my findings were. The first one I'm using is a Woodford Reserve. The second one that I'll be using is a New Riff Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. The next one I'll be trying out is actually a Cabernet. It's aged in bourbon barrel though, so we'll try a wine. And then last but not least, I'll be marinating one, and basically a combination we use often, which is a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, dash of hot sauce, and teriyaki sauce. And then of course I'll have one that has no pre-marinated at all, I'll be able to share the results of my findings. So let's get these into some fresh log bags, get them in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow we'll get these cooked and we'll get to check out the results. So just a little trick that I've shared in some other videos before. As this bag is sealing up, I'm going to leave it in its locked position just so I can cut this evenly and I don't have to worry about this coming undone or trying to do it, and it basically just helps keep the bag straight. So I got one bag, side of the bag sealed, basically putting in one of the fillets, and then as I got that fillet in there, obviously I'm going to go ahead. We're going to start off with this one, that new Riff bourbon. So I'm just going to pour that in there. You don't really have to pour a lot because once this starts to seal up, it's going to vacuum all that in there together. So we'll get that sealed up and go from there. I got that first one into the bag. Basically you're just going to mark it so I remember which one it is since I'm doing two bourbons. So we'll mark that one and then we'll get that one into the refrigerator. Actually I'm going to be doing Woodford Reserve. So just again putting a little bit of that in there. Going to seal this up same as the last one, and then we'll just keep going from this one. This is that combination of teriyaki, soy, Worcestershire, and hot sauce. We use this for steak marinades quite a bit, so I know this will be good, but and we'll see how it compares to the bourbon and the wine. Last one here, try this cabernet on. Same process, just basically going to seal it up in the food saver, and then we'll cook it. Alright, so today's the day, basically getting these filet mignons ready, if you will. I took a beef tenderloin, as you know, and sliced this up. These are just regular, I haven't marinated these in anything. I will season all these up. But as you can see on this one, I actually have it tied. And the reason for that is because I want these to cook up evenly. So I'm going to basically show you how I do that. It's pretty straightforward. It's not very complicated, but I'm doing this with all the fillets just so they cook evenly. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm just taking the string, as you can see, turning it on its side, basically just creating a knot here, slipping that through, tightening it, and I'm going to tighten that all the way. You basically want to get right there in the middle, and then as you do that, just basically knot it up, and then voila, it should be tied. I like to take scissors and cut off the ends, obviously. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's just what I like to do. So there you have it. You have two fillets that are wrapped, ready to go. Like I said, I'm going to season these all up next. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So basically I've got all these tied up. The ones you see with the blue toothpicks are the ones that are marinated in basically the combination that we always like to use, which is Worcestershire sauce, teriyaki sauce, as well as soy sauce, and then a little bit of hot sauce. These next two here, or I should say this next one here, this one is marinated in a bourbon, and this one's marinated in a bourbon. This one right here is marinated in that wine. So, and all these over here, they're just plain. So we'll get a contrasting flavors for each one of these. Let me show you what I season this with. Basically what I'm going to season it with first is I always like to go with salt. I'm using a chipotle salt on these. And I'm going to allow this to rest while I get the fire going, so allow the seasonings to set in. And I'm going to use the same seasonings on each one of these steaks, so it doesn't really change the flavor profile. They're all going to be the same with the uniqueness of the marinade that was used for each one of these. Other than that, except for the ones that don't have marinade, again, the only thing that they're going to have is simply the seasoning. Okay, now last but not least, I have this smoked black bourbon peppercorn that I'm going to put on here. I just really like it. Seems to work really well on steaks especially. So, and if you haven't tried this little thing right here, this little grinder, I'll tell you what, it works out great. I've used it in competition. That's where I learned to use it. And like I said, just using it at home. I also like use it for the seasonings. You can use it for a variety of different seasonings. And it's really precise as far as just a little amount you want to put on, or more if you want. But I don't need a whole lot for these steaks. Just basically salt and this pepper. Let that rest, and then we'll get these on the grill. Basically, you can see I got my temperature right or above 500. So it's time to go ahead and get these steaks on here. Basically using this cast iron plate on the Primo grill. I haven't used it quite a while, so I figured now would be a good time to do it. Alright, So first things first, let's get our regular ones on there. Next, I'm going to put the ones that we like as far as the marinade that we usually use. Next are a couple of the bourbon ones. And then last but not least, the wine. So get all those cooking on there. We'll flip these in about, I don't know, 4 minutes. And then go from there. So here we go, time for the flip. Should have a good crust on these. Yes, we do. Alright. These are the ones that were just seasoned. No marinade of any sort. So, curious to see how those turn out. Alright. It's a little harder to pull off. No big deal. Nice crust though. One is the wine, and these are the bourbon. Alright, another 4 minutes and we should be good. Time to pull these off, set them off to the side. We'll get an internal temp check on these, just kind of see where things are at, and then go from there. Obviously, the important part is allowing these to rest, get to a certain temperature. I'm looking for 125 internal temp. So let's check it out, see what it looks like. First things first, I've allowed these to rest for 5 to 7 minutes. Able to get most of them up to a temperature around 125. Obviously, some went a little further, but not many. In any case, we're going to slice these up real live extra time so you can see it. And we'll just see there's my, okay, so we need to go this way. You always cut against the grain, and voila, a little pink in the middle. Definitely not as good as I'd like it to be, but you know what? Can't be perfect all the time. That's the one without. So let's check the others. I will tell you this is intriguing. The ones that we, wrong one. The ones that we actually typically use as far as like the marinade that we use, cooks faster than the wine or the ones with the bourbon. Why that is, I can't really tell you. I don't know if it was just the coincidence, but I definitely find that intriguing and something else I need to look at in the future. So this is the one with the marinade we like to use. Pinkish in the middle, a little gray on the outside unfortunately, but you know what? Still beautiful nonetheless. Alright, last but not least, I've got, this is the one with the wine. Again, cutting against the grain. There you go. Check it out. Not too bad. Looks pretty good. And then I'll take one of these, the bourbon. Again, cut the string off. Don't need that on there. Not too bad, not too bad, looks pretty decent. So, I've got all those together, I'm getting ready to do the taste test. Let's check it out and see which one wins. So first things first, let's get into this taste test. There's some things about this that I didn't anticipate going into it. And like I said, I've actually never marinated my steaks in bourbon or wine, so this was obviously a first for me. Figured it was worth trying, couldn't hurt at this point. And again, I wanted to see how it compared with things that were not with the steak that wasn't marinated and with our own favorite marinade that we like to use. So without further ado, this right here, this is actually the bourbon marinade. It's definitely tender. There's a small hint of bourbon flavor there, but I wouldn't say it's overextended. Maybe because it only went for, you know, I think I marinated this for about 36 hours altogether. Maybe it needs to be marinated longer. But that was it. So not too bad. The next one is obviously the one with our marinade that we like to use a lot. Wow. Still holds true to this day. It's an excellent marinade. Works well for what we do and how we like our food. The next one is the wine. Okay. On that, you can taste the subtle hint of the wine. I'm not sure if it was because it was a cab or what the deal was, or that it was in the bourbon barrels, but you could definitely get a better hint of that wine versus the bourbon. Why? I can't even necessarily explain that to you. I just know they were marinated for about the same time. It wasn't much apart as far as minutes are concerned. It was literally minutes at most. It was good. And then obviously last but not least, try one without any marinade. It's still good. Personally, if I'm gonna rate these from top to last, this is how this is gonna go. For me, it's the marinade that we like to use here at home, and anybody can use anywhere, anytime. I'd say if I was going with the number 2 at this point, I would go with the wine, just because it added a little bit more deep, rich flavor. Third, I would say I would just go with the one with no marinade. And then fourth, I would go with the bourbon. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I'm just telling you, I don't think the bourbon had the opportunity, or maybe it just wasn't good enough. I don't know. It added flavor. It just wasn't my type of thing. I mean, I like the smell of bourbon. I like the aroma of bourbon, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it was still good. And it was still tender. It just didn't bring it home like the other ones did. So I can just tell you from my experience, that's what I would do. But try it for yourself. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. This was an awesome experience, and I definitely can't wait to do something like this again. And don't forget to hit those notifications. You want to see more experiments like this in the future. Until such time, good cooking.